Hello everyone, it's me Dr. Prasad Podilam. I'm taking the classes for first PU, that is 10 plus 1, Chemistry Unit 1, some basic concepts of chemistry. This is first class of this unit. Importance and scope of chemistry, nature of matter and its classification, homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures, concepts of element, atom, molecules and compounds. Importance of chemistry. We know that science are classified broadly as chemistry, physics, biology, geology, and so on, in which chemistry is our topic of interest. Therefore, we'll further classify chemistry as inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, and so on. Material chemistry, polymer chemistry, nanochemistry, these are all newcomers, and the success of chemistry continue. Chemistry is the branch of science that studies the composition, properties, and interaction of matter. When I say matter, we'll take the example. Solid is a matter. Say example diamond. A liquid is a matter. Juice is an example. Gas is a matter. Clouds are example. And plasma, in which the gaseous state ions are present, positive and negative ions are present, and this plasma state is required for some sign Bose-Einstein. So these are the states of matter, and chemistry is the branch of science that studies the composition, properties, and interactions of matter, and also some of the chemical transformations that requires to convert solid to liquid, liquid to gas, gas to liquid, and different materials or different chemicals, their transformations, how they transform from one structure to other. All these studies comes under chemistry. Applications of chemistry. Chemistry is required to understand the weather patterns, which is a great concern for nowadays. And to understand, that means brain required, the brain functioning. To analyze the functioning of brain also, chemistry, knowledge of chemistry is required. And many chemical industries which manufactures or produce fertilizers, alkalis, acids, salts, dyes, drugs, soap, detergents, and many more. All these are contributing to the economy of our country. Applications of chemistry, if you see, chemistry plays an important role in meeting the human needs for food manufacturing, to identify the toxicity level or whether it is edible or not edible. All these chemistry knowledge is required, as well as in healthcare products like sunscreen oil or body lotion, lipsticks, hair gels. Without of this, which many cannot even think about surviving in this earth, and other materials aimed at improving the quality of life. Many life-saving drugs such as cisplatin, Taxol, these are the structure chemical formula of cisplatin and Taxol is given here. Cisplatin and Taxol, they are effective in cancer therapy. Either they destroy the cancerous cell or it alter the property of the cancerous cell. And also chemicals like AZZ, that is azidothymidine. The structure of azidothymidine is given here. It is used for treating AIDS patients. And many antiviral drugs need to be already prepared. Many antiviral drugs need to be prepared for viruses such as corona. Corona created a pandemic from November 2019 and it is continuing to 2020. So chemistry knowledge is very much essential to prepare even the antiviral drug. Applications of chemistry continues. It requires to replace environmentally hazardous refrigerants like CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbon. You know, chlorofluorocarbon, when it interacts with ultraviolet, produces chlorine free radical, which reacts with the ozone, or it is responsible for the ozone depletion in the stratosphere. So we need to have a safer alternative. You cannot avoid it as such because it is having applications. So safer alternatives is required, that is replacements required. And now we have replacement for refrigeration and air conditioning applications, and applications such as propellants in medicinal aerosols, blowing agents for farm industry. So these are the replacements of CFC. However, many big environmental problems are still a great concern for chemists. One of the such problem is the greenhouse gas effect, and the main gases which contribute towards that effect are carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, ozone, CFC, carbon monoxide, and sulfur dioxide. You know what is greenhouse effect? Already you studied in your SSLC or 10th standard that these gases, even though it will not allow the hazards or the ultraviolet rays to reach the Earth's surface, but also it will avoid the movement of these rays or any heat rays which is produced on the Earth's surface to the atmosphere, thus heating up the Earth's surface or Earth's atmosphere. That effect is known as greenhouse effect. Okay, the main contribution of this effect towards this effect is carbon dioxide. It accounts for half. That means 50% effect is due to carbon dioxide itself. Methane gives 16%. Nitrous oxide contributes to 5%, ozone 12%, and CFC is 12%. Therefore, the main greenhouse affecting gases are carbon dioxide and methane. Knowledge of chemistry is also required to understand many biochemical processes, that is synthesis of ethanol, bioethanol, biodiesel, as well as the enzymes. Okay, enzymes are used for the large scale production of chemicals. Therefore, again, knowledge of chemistry is required. And also the production of newer materials having specific magnetic, electrical, and optical properties. Okay, it's interesting to note that ceramics were once a non-conductor. Now we have superconducting ceramics and conducting polymers. And now we have optical fibers for the effective communication, which allows the communication or transferring the data or information by using light rays. You know how fast the light ray can travel. A light ray which is produced here at this moment may reach moon within a second and will come back. Okay, the application continues. Even chemistry is required for the miniaturization of many solid state devices. You know, you have right now you are using smartphones, and even the miniaturized drones, helicopter to drone we reached. Therefore, all these require the materials and its chemical properties also important. Let us see the nature of matter. Matter, it is anything which has a mass and occupy a space is called matter. Okay, I give the example previously. So let us take another example to explain the states of matter. The first state of matter, that is we call as the solid state, in which the particles are very closely arranged and they are very orderly arranged. Therefore, there is no freedom of movement. Therefore, in solid state, the particles have no freedom of movement. Example is given as ice. Ice, only when it melts, it starts flowing. In solid state, it has got no freedom of movement. The second state phase, that is known as liquid phase or liquid state, in which the particle has got a little freedom of movement. They are not so closely packed, little bit loosely packed. Therefore, they can have the freedom to flow. The third state, that is gaseous state, in which the particles has got no restrictions at all. Therefore, they flow easily. And we need some containers to hold the gas, closed containers to hold the gas, and or even open containers can be used to hold a liquid. And solid, we don't want any container as such, that is solid. Okay, so let us define solid, liquid, and gaseous state. Solid can be defined as solids have definite volume and definite shape, whereas liquids, they have definite volume but they are not having definite shape. And the gaseous state, you can say it is not having definite volume and also it is not having definite shape, or we can say gases have neither definite volume nor definite shape. Okay, these states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and even plasma, that will come in higher classes and all. So these states of matter, we discussed three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gases. They are interconvertible with temperature and pressure. Interconvertible means solids on heating, you can convert into liquid state. Liquids on cooling, you can convert into solid state. Likewise, liquids on heating will get the gaseous state, and the gaseous state, the hot gaseous state on cooling will get the liquid state. Okay, that's why we say that these states of matters are interconvertible with the temperature as well as even with the pressure. Classification of matter. How matters are classified? Matters can classified as mixtures and pure substances. Mixtures can be further categorized into two, that is homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Pure substances are elements and compounds. So let us see one by one. Mixtures. Mixtures contains two or more substances present in it, and these substances are called components. Okay, components means they are the substances which are present in a mixture, and mixture can have two or more components. It may be in any ratio. If it may be fixed ratio, or it may be any unknown ratio. If they are present together, we call it as a mixture. So example, KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate. If you take a little small pieces of KMnO4 and if you put it in water, you know how you might have seen this, how it undergoes the dissolution to get a potassium permanganate solution. So this is a mixture. Okay, another example is given: a tea without milk mixed with milk and sugar will get different mixtures, out of which the best mixture we treat as a tea and we consume it. Okay, so these are all example for mixtures, and let us see how mixtures are classified as homogeneous and heterogeneous. What is homogeneous? I said different mixtures, so it may be homogeneous mixture as well as heterogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixtures, say let us take an example of sugar and sand in water. Okay, this is a GIF image, that is graphic interchange format image that I took. Okay, here this beaker contains sugar and sand mixed in water, which upon filtration, this is a filter paper which is used, and this is a funnel and beaker. Okay, so this mixture, if you pour through a funnel containing a filter paper and allow it to separate, okay, here you can see the sugar solution is formed, and sugar solution is an example for homogeneous mixture, whereas the mixture of that salt, sugar, sand, sugar, and water is not homogeneous, whereas sugar solution is homogeneous. So if I can define, in a homogeneous mixture, the components mix with each other and its composition is uniform throughout. This composition is uniform throughout means if I take one drop from the sugar solution, and even if I take 1 ml solution from the sugar solution, both will be having similar ratio of amount of sugar and amount of water. Or if I take water, the sugar solution from one side of that solution, one drop, and another drop from another side, then there also, if you check, the composition will be uniform. Therefore, in homogeneous mixture, the components mix with each other and its composition is uniform throughout. Okay, that's about a homogeneous mixture. Now let us see what is heterogeneous mixture. Okay, heterogeneous mixture, there's two examples are given here, that is sand in water and oil in water. Here the sand will not mix with water and it will settle down at the bottom of that glass. And oil, if you mix oil to water, the oil will float on the water. That is due to the difference in density. Water density, sand density, and oil density are different. Therefore, here the sand is settling down, here oil is floating. So these are oil and water mixture. Sand and water mixture is an example for heterogeneous mixture. Therefore, let us see what is it. In heterogeneous mixture, The composition is not uniform throughout, and sometimes the different components can be observed. So we see in the different components like the sand and water and oil and water, different components. These components can be separated by using physical methods. Even we can separate it by hand picking. The sand we can hand pick it out, or already we seen that filtration process, or by crystallization or distillation. All these physical methods we can separate that mixture. Then such mixture is known as heterogeneous mixture. Okay, that's about a mixture and its subcategories. Now let us see what is pure substance. Pure substance have fixed composition. Say example, copper, silver, gold are example for pure substance. And also the constituents of pure substances, if it has got more constituents, it cannot be separated by simple physical method. Say example, glucose. You know, glucose consists of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. It is made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but we cannot separate either carbon or hydrogen or oxygen by simple physical method like hand picking or filtration or even distillation. We cannot separate this carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Therefore the constituent of pure substance cannot be separated by simple physical methods, and they have fixed composition also. That's about pure substance. It is classified into elements and compounds. Let us see what are elements. Elements are, it consists of only two types of particles, which we call as atoms or molecules. You see, first one, atom is known to everyone. Sodium, copper, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, helium, iron, whatever it may be. All the elements, there are so many elements in our periodic table, we can add them. All of them are atoms. Okay, whereas if two atoms, same atoms, if they combine to become more stable, like hydrogen combines with the hydrogen to form a molecule of hydrogen, H2, this is a molecule. Oxygen combines with oxygen atom to form a molecule of oxygen. Okay, therefore some atoms like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, they even exist as molecules for better stability. Okay, that about elements. Now let us see what are compounds. Compounds, when two or more atoms of different elements combine, the molecule of a compound is obtained. That means two or more atoms of different elements. Hydrogen and oxygen are different elements. Two hydrogen combines with one oxygen to get a water molecule. This is a compound of water. We call it as water molecule or water molecule as a compound. Here, two different elements, that is oxygen and carbon, they combine to give a compound which we call as carbon dioxide. Okay, this is the explanation for compound. Okay, so let us once again see the classification of matter. A very simple classification as mixtures and pure substances. Mixtures further classified as homogeneous and heterogeneous. Pure substances are classified as elements and compounds, and elements are atoms and molecules. Okay, some of the questions that may comes to first PUC or 10+1 students in question paper, what I see. What is chemistry? Chemistry is the branch of science that studies the composition, properties, and interaction of matter. What are the basic constituents of a matter? The basic constituents of a matter are atoms and molecules. Mention any two life-saving drugs or name the drugs used in cancer therapy. They are cisplatin and Taxol. Name the drug used in the treatment of AIDS, that is azithromycin, AZT. Which chemical is responsible for the depletion of ozone, that is chlorofluorocarbon, CFCs. What is matter or define matter? Matter is anything which has mass and occupies volume. Mention any two greenhouse gases. There are many. Okay, two of them are carbon dioxide, methane are best examples. Define solid. Solid is a substance having definite shape and definite volume. Define liquid. Liquid is a substance which has definite volume but not definite shape. Define gas. Gas is a substance which has neither definite volume nor definite shape. Okay, this is the class for first PU at present. That is for 10+1 chemistry unit 1, and it's first class. Okay, I'm signing out from this presentation. Okay, I'm signing out from this presentation. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.